feel so goofy for it afterwards. But if there's anywhere you can get for Fiend to start things up, I'd be pretty happy about getting Demon Island because this is a majority of where he gets his wins.
Yo, but the picks coming out on both sides. Fiend, notable spear player, is not playing either of those. It's going to be Caspian. And then on the other side, Godly, kind of known as the Petra as of late, of course has the Rayman as well. That's been one of his big picks, but instead it's going to be the Lucian, maybe taking a page out of Luna's book over in North America.
I have seen Godly pull out Katars a little bit of late too, so it doesn't surprise me too much, but I am definitely super shocked on Fiend because, like you said, we're so used to it's Hattori Special or Queen Nai of late, but instead he's switching up weapons entirely. And he almost got the first stock.
He might get it soon. He had a great read there, got the double side light, and went for a nair there. Very interesting option. Like almost every other Gauntlet player in North America, EU, they go for the recovery there. They're like, oh, if it's not damaging enough, I'll jump there, jump there. But Fiend was like, you know what? I already know it's not going to KO, so I'm just going to go for the immediate setup.
Golly doing great right now, looking for a ground pound, but a great position for Fiend and just hopping right back on, catching him, not being prepared. That's something Godly will do too. He will swing at points where you think he's at disadvantage, just no.
Oh, but Fiend clean with it, down light, gravity cancel, neutral heavy, optimum vertical force when you're unarmed. Godly already putting on damage on the second stock despite the fact that he's unarmed.
Golly going back in for the dare as well. Oh my, dare again. He goes to chase him, looking at it. He baits him around just by hovering around him. He just plays right in front of Fiend's face to wait for him to swing first and then punish. It's so ridiculous to handle.
Godly got so much damage off that Qatar movement, off that pressure. Fiend, he's only doing like 1 or 2 taps compared to Godly, who's getting like 3-4 into an end-sig, and Godly's now got a big lead here.
I think that's the biggest difference, is that where Fiend will hit him maybe once or twice, Godly's getting him 3 to 5 times in any sequence, and it hasn't changed here on last stock. Getting him again, that time going back in for the dare reverse, dare to continue to play, and it's still going.
Oh my goodness, that's like a good 5 or 6 times where Fiend starts an attack and Godly interrupts it with an attack of his own or a weapon toss of his own. Finally, Fiend starting to find some connections here onto Godly, but Godly's getting such a lead.
I mean, it's one of those things where you think about how do you condition someone who has no fear, as Godly has absolutely no fear of Fiend right now. Weapon toss up, forces him to go low. Tried to catch him with a recovery on blasters, doesn't find it, but one delight recovery and that's it.
Ooh, but the side 6 from Fiend. No, Taza really respects those side 6 from Caspian. They hit incredibly hard, and he is going to clean up the stock, but he's got almost no health to play with.
I am thinking to what you said earlier. Fiend has incredible offstage presence.
Okay.
So there is an opportunity that if he sneaks one out, he could actually drop off stage and go for a big reach, try to go for a dare, maybe a ground pound to try and steal this game away. I would not put it past him.
They are mirroring movement. Bait out a side sig. Godly with the dodge avoids the down air from Fiend. He touches.
Okay, he's getting funded. Actually, Godly's getting hit a whole lot. Godly's having a hard time finding the ground.
He just needs a recovery though, or a down sig, and Godly takes game number 1.
That's something you were not prepared for. He didn't do it one time in that game, so you weren't prepared for the D-sig, but he was having a hard time avoiding Fiend for a good bit there at the end, but he knew he was still in the yellow. It didn't really matter that much, and as long as he played around center, none of those early edge guards happened. There's no way you steal a stock away from me, which is very good on Godly to make sure he recouped, got back to center to never let Fiend make an attempt at that.
Yeah, definitely looking at the damage numbers, right, is Godly was pretty much all about the Katars. 494 damage put out, 57 on the blasters, and like half of that was that down sig at the very end there. But Fiend kind of seemed like he was figuring out the Qatar versus Qatar mirror match.
Yeah, as the match progressed, Fiend was getting better, which is something we're kind of used to, as Fiend is already starting things off here, looking for a high recovery right there. Gets a nair punish and a recovery, so Fiend's starting off kind of high here in game 2.
But he disarms himself on the whiffed weapon toss. Good spacing there, gets the side light, goes for the signature, but Godly stays just below it.
There once again, Godly has had a hard time getting these blasters started. That's not going to stay that way, by the way. Let's make that clear. Godly will figure out and get these blasters going, but in the meantime, he's taking Fiend's taking full advantage of that.
Fiend catches the movement. That was a burned air dodge from Godly off that neutral light from Fiend, which means Fiend could go for that after he got that second neutral light. Doesn't go for a Sair there.
Fiend just gonna get back on stage. And I'm kind of surprised Godly just like let it rock, and Godly missing out on the D-Light. Once again, I don't think I've seen him successfully get one D-Light recovery off of blasters yet. So back to the Katars, and well, there you go.
It does, in fact, even up the stock count, though. Godly gonna juggle here. It feels like he wants to play blasters to be like, look, I also have these, but they just haven't activated just yet.
Yeah, these are here for show. They look really nice. Like, you respect my drip game, but so far it's not about that. It's about actually getting the W. And Godly doesn't really matter too much because these guitars have been so on the money.
Godly keeping that stage control. Fiend does land down, gets a neutral light, but that's a burn dodge from Godly, but Fiend can't continue it. Sig whiffs.
Godly getting a two-piece punish. Sidelight and catches him once again. Fiend's gonna have to force to recover high. He's already got burned by the recovery, so refreshing it. He's unarmed. Fiend having a hard time once again touching the ground, and Godly's even is completely back up.
Godly's guitar signatures have been hitting. I want to say he's like 3 for 3 on those down sigs, and also 2 for 2 on those end sigs.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Oh, see, he finally whiffs one.
Okay, guy.
Hey, look, he's still swinging like at 80%, so he's still getting the MVP in the baseball stats at the end of the day. Now, all of a sudden, he's whipping all of them, so I guess that's... Dude, why'd you have to talk about it?
It's my fault. You know, that's the secret as a good caster, is to curse the person that you want to lose.
Yeah, that's actually
You gotta compliment them.
Yeah,
but Godly gets the KO there, and Fiend even with Godly.
Yeah, if y'all want to win bracket, my PayPal is... Anyways, Fiend is continuing to look like he's figuring out the match as it progresses, but that last stock was not as strong. But the gauntlets have picked up a ton. He hasn't been able to find that opener in a little while, though.
Both of them kind of dash chancing. They want the other one to make that initial action. The down air puts Godly off stage. A little bit of panic here, but Fiend can't keep the pressure going.
Gets the Sarah off the weapon toss bounce here too is Godly. But here we go, neutral lights off, and he's trying to find a sidelight, but Godly's kind of baiting him into it.
Godly utilizing that longer range. Fiend gets caught. That's a downlight recovery, and Godly takes game number 2.
We said it before, we didn't see a single one, but doesn't matter because eventually the one that you needed is the one that netted you a game. Godly picking it up a ton. Fiend has been looking very good in specific moments, but the main problem is that 305 that's still sitting at the guitars. And the fact that the Blasters picked it up that game is also a crucial issue. He hasn't been able to solve the guitars entirely. Now he has the Blasters to worry about. Like you said, they weren't activated yet in that previous game.
Well, now they're activated. 282 damage put out. On the other side, Fiend's gauntlets had moments. 208 damage put out. 169 on the guitars. I think 2 things really stood out for me about Fiend is he kept going for the neutral line N-Sig, which is like a Caspian classic, but Godly fell for it 0% of the time. He managed to get away every single time Fiend went for that N-line N-Sig.
He's going to have to pull out all of the tricks he has left in his pocket as he's rocking that Harley Quinn outfit over there. You better have something up your sleeve. As we go to small Brawlhalla, we're going to finally see a change of scenery. And I guess Fiend is just not happy with how often Godly's surviving some of these plays, but this also does open up the fact you're getting knocked out earlier yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it is small Brawlhalla. Like, if he side sigs right now in the right spot, he might actually take out Godly. Like, this is Caspian side sigs we're talking about.
See if it plays out. Godly's Blasters are on the money right now, but now we're going to go to the money maker, the guitars.
Not close enough to the wall.
Neutral take is not going to connect either. He hasn't been able to find any of those of late. Great patience for Godly, and it is picking up, Duke.
Yeah, he's getting some great damage put out. Down sig whiffs there. Fiend tries to go for the punish. Good dodge down, avoids the recovery. Recovery for recovery. Fiend sweat beating him. He's got no movement.
They are chasing after each other so much, but nobody falls just yet. Fiend gets a punish. No, he doesn't get the punish. That was a big opportunity dropped.
And Godly gets it this time. The N-Sig connects. Gonna juggle weapons to delay the weapon spawn.
Deciding to commit to the guitars again. The guitar, it doesn't really matter what he's playing now. Everything is working. Fiend sliding off, trying to go for the unarmed D-Light, but he doesn't find his mark. And Fiend is gonna get the D-Light ground pound instead, though. Great job mitigating the damage. Doesn't take too much. I think that's the least amount of damage he's taken between 2 stops.
Yeah, that was a really good cleanup from Fiend. Time for some gauntlet action. Goes for the side sig read there. Yeah, there's a lot more sigs coming out because this is small Brawlhalla.
Yeah, like you said, like just from center, potentially a little while ago on that guitar, it's like he could just disappear. He might make an attempt at that pretty soon. Fiend not unknown for being a very signature happy, as we've seen with the Queen 9 in the past.
Stand glow. He goes for the neutral line there. Godly not able to hit the N-Sig. Fiend goes off stage. He went for a recovery there, but Godly was a little lower.
Yeah, he didn't get stuff recovery off of that. I like the idea from Fiend. He's not being scared about going off stage. He's trying to make something happen here. Gets in there, looking for maybe a dodge in place, but Godly never gave it to him as he strikes once again, working on a 3-0.
Yeah, Godly is just, he's looking good with every single weapon. His guitar is looking good, Blaster's looking good. This is a struggle for Fiend right now, is he might go down to the elimination side of things.
Yeah, this is looking like a Godly we expected to see. Godly is one of the players that you have to be fearful the most up in the bracket, regardless of how much people may like Fiend. He's got the biggest task he can ask for, and it is not looking like it's panning out at the moment.
Downlight goes for the side air, not quite in KO percent for a recovery. Fiend throws out the side sig, can't connect with the heavy.
See if Fiend can close this stock out here. Looking for the neutral lights. He already burned a dot before 2, and the D-Sig is just going to get the job done. Godly striking once again. Godly continuing to move forward. That puts him in the round of 16, the winner's quarter side of things, where he will... Oh, that's going to be a good one.
I want to see it.
That is the rematch from BCX. Godly, Potentially. No, it happened.
Oh, did Impala already win?
Impala 3-2 Java.
Okay.
So Godly and Impala will be fighting up against the